Bearing and trigonometry. Now, the bearing thingy, it's like divided into three things, you can say. Bearings comes in scale drawings. Okay, I'm not gonna. Bearing comes in trigonometry, and bearing comes in itself and angles of polygons. Okay, those three. But books just put together bearings and trigonometry together, or bearings and loci together. Okay, so whichever you want to put together, this it's mostly with trigonometry. Okay, let's start with doing all of these topicals. Now, the video title is obviously about bearings. So, what do I do with the trigonometry bit of these topicals that I have? I'm just gonna skip them. Okay, literally, I will just tell you the setup. Okay, which you can do to calculate it. Okay, rest I'm not gonna do any work. Okay, it's just to teach identification of angles and how to get the angles themselves. Okay, this is paper 2, meaning we will use calculator and expect to use sine and cosine rule. Okay, I have my notes in description. Like, subscribe and share, and let's go. Calculate AC. So AC, we can calculate by, no, we need this. We have an angle, we have two sides, opposite of this angle is our AC, so this is cosine rule. Okay, immediately, so I will just write cosine rule, where these are the side lengths and this is the angle to input. What about the area of the field? Okay, how do we get area of ABC? Well, this is area sine rule, which is A is equals to a half AB sine of C, where AB are the legs that make up the angle and sine of C is the angle that the legs make of the triangle. Okay, so this is the area sine. The field is now to be sown with grass. This is, this thing. The angle of elevation of the bird from A is this degrees. Calculate the height of the bird above B. Okay, this is like not, but I will teach you angle of elevation also. So angle of elevation, so you are right here, and your eyes, the angle that they make looking upwards, that is the angle of elevation. It's either by eyes or either relative to a point. The angle you take when looking up, that is relating to the height. Okay, so this is angle of elevation. Similarly, the angle of depression is the same thing, but when you are looking down. So this is U, the KFC logo. When you're looking down, the angle that you look down by is your angle of depression. Okay, and similarly this works out for a point also. So at point A we go by the angle 18.5 degrees, and the bird is right above B. So let's do B of D for the bird, and it asks us to calculate this. This will use tangent. Okay, because we have tan of angle is equals to opposite, which is the height, let's call it height, and the adjacent, which is 130. Theta is 18.5, and that is our answer for D. Okay, shortest distance, you can, it is, okay, we're getting too off topic. AB, AD, ADC, there is no bearing stuff going on. Yeah, three significant figures. Okay, there's no bearings going on. Why is there no bearings? Obtuse angle. Wow. Prism. Area of the prism. Ooh. Okay, this is like a good question. We'll come back to it when we actually are doing trigonometry. Since we aren't doing trigonometry stuff, I will teach you how you can do this question. This is like one of the hard questions. So yeah, to understand this, we need to find we need to show that the angle of x is this. So this is obviously tangent of x is equals to opposite or adjacent. State your reasonings. Stating your reasons, explain why y is equal to x. Well, we can have 3 ways we can do this. This is perpendicular. Okay, good. This is an 90. Good. And also the third bit, BC and FE are similar and are parallel to each other. Okay, you can use similarity to deduce that angle x and angle y are the same angles indeed. And we need to calculate AC and perpendicular distance, blah blah blah. Evaluate this. You got to be careful. Okay, in my notes I did say to be careful when inputting this. Okay, so how do you input this? This is you press the fraction button, 8 times button, sine. Okay, it will come up as sine of this 54, and then input in close bracket intentionally, else it does not know what you're doing. And then sine, press down, sine of 18, close bracket, and then compute it. Make sure you are on degree mode and you will be good to go. There's like no questions about, oh my god, there's no bearing. Wow. Angle of depression. Look, angle of depression. Calculate the angle of depression of C from A. Now, what does this mean? Angle of depression. Does it mean you do this? You cannot. I do not find a case like this. And you got to make your case. You know, sometimes in court you got to make your own case. Like so, angle A. From angle A, you look down, and the angle by you look down is angle of depression. So it's asking for theta basically. This finally bearing. Yeah, you see, when there's like a lighthouse and this all stuff, the good stuff, lighthouse, ships, that's where bearing is used, since bearing is this a thingy that ship makers made. Okay, calculate LJK. So first we mark the angle LJK. So calculate this angle. You can calculate this using cosine. Cosine of theta is equals to opposite over opposite over this is sine, sorry. Okay, so sorry if you guys are a doctor, then I'm not becoming a doctor. Just I just have the writing of a doctor. So you do sine of inverse of 354 over 1100, and we get 18.77, but we write it to 1 decimal place. When you are writing your answer, your response in angle, then you write to 1 decimal place, degrees. If you are working during it, then you got to use 3 decimal places no matter what. Okay, that's what I recommend for everyone. Hence find the bearing of K from J. Now here's the real good stuff. Bearing of K from J. So first we go at J, we are at J, and we make the north arrow. It's perpendicularly up, and we find the bearing of J from of K from J. So first you find KJ you make this line for yourself, kj, so it's like about here, and you got to find this reflex angle. How do you find this reflex angle? Well, let's break it down. In my notes, I said to have it in 90 pieces. So, we will use the 90-90 trick. So, you make it across like so. Yes, this is like a plus sign. Okay, let's call it a plus sign. And we see this is a 90, this is a 90, and this is a 90. But we need to find the remaining angle. What do? We take the 90 and we remove the angle we calculated on red. So 90 minus theta, which is 18.8, and we get our answer of 90 minus 18.8 is equals to 71.2. And so finally we add up the answers. 90 plus 90 plus 71.2 is equals to 2251.2. That is our answer. Lovely. Calculate AC, CE, VEE diagram. How many parts does this have? Oh my god. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many marks is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 marks. This is like outrageous. Calculate the distance AB. I do not want to. Angle of elevation. Angle of depression. So E from F. Calculate the angle of depression of E from F. So we first go to F, and if there is no perpendicular line like this, like line outwards, you draw that. Then since it's depression, you're going to go down, and that is our angle. Okay, let's do this for this one. A from B is this. Calculate the distance AB. What are we given? The angle of elevation of A from B. So at B, if we go up by 34 degrees, we make 34 angle. And angle of elevation of the center of the blades, which is C, from B is 25. So at B, if we look up by 25 degrees, it is, and we get to C. And that is our setup. We can find the distance AB. How? How do you find the distance AB? Well, we can use some sine rule to our advantage. This is 30 minutes. This is 30 meters long, and we want to get this. We are not given any other information other than this 30. So we can use some algebra. We can use some algebra. Let's call this x, and we know that the 25 opposite, and let's call this ground G. Okay, let's call it that. We know that 25 tangent of 25 is equals to opposite x over G, and we know the 34 tangent of 34 is equals to 30 plus x over G, and we can remove the G from here by just solving for G in here. So we can solve for G like so. Then we plug in G into this upper equation. Copy, paste. Nice. Now let's simplify this fraction a little bit, a teeny tiny bit. Let's extend this and multiply on both sides tangent of 25. Sorry, on both halves. Next, we are going to get x in the denominator, which I will, to make it simple, I will put it here. Okay, I will multiply it on the other side. Okay, don't worry. I'm just multiplying it on the other side. This will be 30 plus x times tangent of 25. I'm just putting it right here in one step. So it will be like this, and then you can simplify it further. X tan of 34 minus x tan of 25 is equals to 30 tan 25. You can group this together. You can calculate this to 3 decimal places, remember, and we can divide this numerator by the denominator and get the value of x. Then, damn, this is like so much work for one value. Then, since we found x, how do you find AB? You know, how do you find AB? Next, what we do is we know this angle and we know G. Hey, we can just use sine rule, you know. Sine of 34 is, sorry, not sine rule, but sine identity, whatever you call it, sine fraction. Opposite, which is 30 plus x over hypotenuse, which is AB. We solve for AB, which is sine of 34 over this over sine of 34 AB, and this is your answer. See, it is a little difficult of the algebra you do. This is an rates question. Now here is a bearings question. Finally, calculate the bearing of D from A. Bearing of D from A. So we go to A, we make our cross, our plus sign. Okay, our plus sign. And we then find AD, we make the line AD. Then we make the angle, we measure the angle. Nice. Now, you can do 90-90, but we come to a problem. What is this? Well, this is simply, we can calculate it by gathering this whole angle. We can sum 48 plus 55. Done. Since these two cover this sector, we don't need to recalculate it with 90 again. So we can skip this and do 90-90 again. And so this is 90 plus 90 plus 55 plus 48. See, some angles will be completed already for you. You just got to do 90-90 or 90 minus on 180 or 180 minus something. 90 plus 90 plus 55 plus 48 is equal to 283. Next, let's continue. Calculate the bearing of A from C. So we stand at C, we make our plus, and we go CA. Now calculate the bearing of A from C. This calls for this angle right here. How do you calculate this angle? Well, let's do some angle properties. You know, this is the north arrow, and so is this the north arrow, but the north arrow is perpendicular to the south arrow, you know, so we get this. Next, if we look at it closely, you might see a Z shape, and you know what that means? this angle is not a blue highlighter. This angle is 55 degrees, and so we quickly found the angle without any algebra, just using angle properties. It'll be this z stuff will be useful throughout the thingy. Make it your best friend. Calculate the distance between A and B, and this is easy. You can use sine rule. How? You can complete for this angle. This is 180 minus 51 minus 55 is equal to 74. 4. Then use 19 over sine of 74 is equal to AB over sine of 51, and like so you can solve for AB. Done. Distance DC, and this is a cosine rule setup. Why? We see that we know the lengths of the two legs that make up the angle opposite to the wanted side. So this calls for cosine rule. This is rates. We don't do rates. There is something rhyming, but calculate the bearing of A from C. So let's stand at C. Remember, you got to know English really good. Sometimes they may word it a little different, so that the letter you got to start at first is the first that they say it. So like find a calculate the bearing of C to A. Example, calculate the bearing of C to A. So you might be confused. What does that mean? That means the stand at C and you can calculate the bearing towards A. So we stand at C, we make the line which is towards A. Okay, you can just imagine this line, by the way. It is that I'm on my pen overrides the diagram. Okay, then we mark it. Remember, we rotate counterclockwise. No, clockwise, yes. Ooh, wait, I might be, yeah, this is a really good point to come up. You should always give your bearing answers to 3 decimal places. Yes, I am not doing that, but you should. Well, you can in bearings you can give up to like 3 whole places. Okay, if it's a reflex angle, but regardless, you should give it in 3 figures. Okay, 3 figures, 3 digits always. If it's like 0, 0, 6 degrees, you got to give it in 0, 0, 6 degrees. I said this in my notes. Okay, if it's decimal, then you can go on with the decimal, don't worry. But you got to fulfill the 3 on the hundreds place also, hundreds and tens place. It's something. Let's continue. So we can do our 90-90 trick here, but there's a complication. This is not parallel to our this base here. This is not parallel to our base here. So we got to do some workarounds to find this angle, and the workaround I know of is to find the angle using cosine rule. Cosine rule we are given let's see a simpler way. We can complete this. No, we need to use cosine rule because that's the only way we can think of, and it's 4 marks also, so that's probably what you use. So how do you do cosine rule? Well, we are given the legs that make up the angle, and we are given the length of the side opposite to the angle that we want. So we set it up. Cosine of theta is equals to I will call the 70 squared plus 110 squared minus 65 squared all over 2 times 70 110, and we obviously take inverse cosine. So theta is equals, let's compute this first, which is about cosine of 0.829. Okay, you can do 0.83. Yeah, okay, connect to 3 decimal places, okay, during working. And we do cosine inverse of 0.83. okay, I could have used the fraction that the calculator gave, but come on, I got to stay consistent. So 33.9 degrees. This is 33.9. Now we can continue with our work that we are doing, okay, quote unquote work. And I will do now angles are, I did it 1 decimal place. Why? Because later on I will not use that place ever again because of the others being integers. Okay, so this is 90 90 90 and this is a 90, but we need to subtract off our 33.9. so this is 90 plus 90 plus 90 plus 90 minus 33.9, which is 56.1. Yeah, 56.1, and do 90 plus 90 plus 90 plus 56.1, which gives us 326.1. okay, nice, there we go. You can just have it like plus blah 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 plus bracket 90 minus 33.9 blah blah blah, whatever, just have it your way. Then calculate AD. Let's quickly do this AD. Now we know, no, we do not know. Yeah, we can complete this angle. Then we use sine rule. Okay, so this is the red 7110, and this is the blue. So we do 110 over sine of 70 is equals to AD or sine of our completed angle, which is 180 minus 70 minus 58 is equals to 52, sine of 52, and we find AD like that, very easy. And there is some angle of elevation, I'm not gonna do that, sorry. Bearing of A from D. Okay, distance of B from C. So we need to find this distance. This is a 30 60 90 triangle, no, a 3 4 5 triangle, but scaled by 2. No. Okay, in the calculator we the short break I did, I calculated the length. It is 4 to 13, which we do not want as the response. We can give it in decimal, so this is 14.4 kilometers. Okay, 3 significant figures we gave it up to this length. Calculate the bearing of A from D. So we stand at D, we make our plus sign, and we make this thingy, we mark out. Now this 90 is complete, and we need to find this remaining angle. How do you do that? You use tangent. This remaining angle will be inverse tangent of this, tangent of opposite or adjacent. Theta will be inverse tangent of 12 over 15, which is 36 38.7, 38. We are doing working, so this is 38.666. Okay, then we do 90 plus 38.66, which is 38.66, which we give 128.66. Now this is a bearing, so 128.66. I do not know about ruling about the decimal. Okay, I think we just keep the decimal. Okay, if the marking scheme says and is like give nearest to integer, so you round it nearest to integer, obviously. Now this is a measurement question, so we cannot do this on our screen, so sorry about that. 8 of cross section. Bearing. Find a bearing of A from C. Okay, you see me not reading this. This is like just bloat. Okay, let's go here. Okay, quick. If we need any information about the question, then we go back to it. Okay, find a bearing of A from C. So from C, excuse me, we make our A. Now we need to calculate this big angle, and we have access to this like tiny sliver of A from C. Yeah, we are correct. Let me make this a bit more straight, so to say. Now this is not impossible. Okay, don't worry, this is very possible. Why? Because we know B is due north of A. This is the only bit of information we needed. A is due north of B, meaning if we make a arrow south of A, it will be parallel to AB, and so we can safely say these both are the same. Yes, you're correct. We use angle of polygons and to our advantage here. Let's calculate this blue angle. This is 180 minus 220. This is like opposite, reverse bearing. We remove 90 instead. Okay, this is the evil version of bearing. So this is 220 minus 180 is equals to 40, and our answer is 40 as we do alternate opposite. This bearing of calculate the bearing of C from B. So we stand at B and we calculate the bearing to C. We are set to find length BC. No worries, you can just find BC with cosine rule. How do you do this? We find the remaining angle and we do cosine rule. Cosine, since this is opposite, these are the legs. Plug in and play. 90. This angle, this remaining angle. So we found this during our working, and we found this during our working. This is part B. This angle is opposite to this, and so it will be better to use sine rule instead. So this is sine of, this is answer B, or sine of 140. Okay, A is 140, and this is equals to 38 over theta. This little angle is theta. We find theta, then we do 90 plus 90 plus theta, and that is our answer. Now the video is like half an hour long, so I cannot do this slowly, so You guys can do it, don't worry. Okay. Calculate bearing of T from Q. So from Q we make the cross, the plus, yes, the plus, we make the plus, and we mark Q, this QT over here, we mark this QT over here, and we make the angle. Now this is 90 and boom. We can do this. Why? We can use cos any sine rule and then 90 minus the angle that we find. So this is 450. This is the angle that we want, and this is the blue angle and the blue length. So this is 720 over sine of 62 is equals to 450 sine of theta. I do not have time, sorry. So this is 90 plus 90 minus theta, so to say, and that is your answer here. Now obviously you would calculate this, you do not give it like this, just writing it. Okay, just calculate it yourselves. Okay. Let's leave that, it can do its thing. The bearing of B from A is this. Calculate AC. To calculate AC, we know this, and we need to know this angle to use cosine rule. Now why are we given bearing? Well, it's to do some work. Okay, we need to find this angle. So what do? You make our plus, we know this is 90 guarantee, and this remaining angle, what is this remaining angle? This is, yes, we use angles of polygon to find this remaining angle to be 56, not a blue highlighter, this is 56. And so we do 90 plus 56, that is our angle at B, and then we use cosine rule. 90 plus 56 is the angle, like 12 and 2, and boom. Angle of elevation of D from B. So we just calculate this teeny tiny angle, that is right over here. This is a fun question. Show that this angle is this correct to decimal place. CAB. We can show this that this is this by using cosine rule. This is the red angle, and this is red length, and these are the red thingy. It's 2.8 over sine of 42 is equals to 3.7 over sine of CAB. You calculate this and then we get the angle, none. Let's just keep using 62.2 for now, because we know that is the answer that we will get eventually. Find the bearing of A from C. So from C we make I plus, and we go and mark the angle like so. Sorry, yeah, so this tiny angle. So how do you do this? We know we will need to use some kind of angles of polygon to help us out. And yes, you are right, we make a perpendicular down here. This is the south arrow, which is perpendicular to the north arrow, and we do angles of polygon like so. Now we do 135 plus 62.2 minus 180, because we need to find this tiny angle here. So we get our answer 17.2, and 17.2 is our answer. And this is a rate problem. Rates. This is good. Rates, trigonometry, bearings. Okay, the bearing of A from L. So we stand at L, we make a plus, and then we draw LA. Not in detail, but come on, if we got that, then congrats. We can do some trickery. We know this angle is done. If we find this remaining angle, we can find the whole thing. Okay, that's how you can skip the 90-90 trick. You can do 90-90 trick, but then you have to do 90 minus this minus that. It will simplify to 62 plus this theta angle, which you get right here. So we unfortunately need to do cosine rule. Yeah, cosine of theta is equals to 14 squared plus 8 squared minus 13 squared all over 214 8. And in our calculator, if we plug in, so 14 squared plus 8 squared minus 13 squared all over 2 times 14 times 8 is equals to 134.69692. Nice. And we use cosine. No. Yeah, okay, I did it incorrectly. You see, you need to check if it's like outside 1. Okay, if it's outside the range of -1 to 1, your answer is going to be math error 4.06. yes, 0.406, and you do cosine inverse of 0.406, and your answer is 66 normal 66.0. okay, and 66, right, like so. So this is 62 plus 66 is equal to 128, like so. I do not feel like doing anything else, not doing a lot, you know. Bearing from B. This is by measurement, so yeah, you need to use your compass. But from where? From B, what do you need to do? We need to make a cross, a plus. We need to make a plus. Bearing of A from B. So how do you do this? With our protractor. Either you can protract like this and done, or either you can plus 180 plus the angle you measured using your protractor. So you place your protractor like so, it measures like such, and we go on with the rest of our paper, not with the rest of our day. Find by measurement the actual listen. Okay, yeah, I'm skipping C. So what is it saying? A third boat is positioned at C. C is a bearing of 120 degrees from A. So from A, we go 120 degrees. You use your protractor, 0, 90, 180. You measure 120. It's somewhat like this, 120, and on a bearing of 195 from B. So from B, we go 195, it's like a bit like here. Why? Because 195 is greater than 180, so we do 195 minus 180 is equal to 15. So we use our protractor like so. We place it like so. Since look, we do 180 already. 180 plus the theta, and our theta is 15 degrees, and then we keep on going with our line. So if we go on, then we will end up at C if we just extend this. Now you got to do all of your like making your cross, doing the angle. Okay, just making a plus with a pencil. Okay, you can, if you mess up, then it's your fault if you did it with a pen, but you can use a pencil to mark your angles, to do your this stuff, shade and stuff. Now since we mark C using our pencils. C is our third point which we label, and that is our, and how you do this C question. See, this is like the scale drawings bit I said earlier in the video, in the start of the video. Rates. And this is another bearing question. We can show this. BAC. So we get this. This is by cosine rule, unfortunately. These two are the legs. This is the side opposite to it. You can use the cosine rule like I have been in earlier parts of the video. Calculate the bearing of A from C. So from C we make a plus, and we make our CA, and we make our circle, and we do 180 thingy, 1990. But let's see, can we use this big angle, this big juicy angle that you found? Yes, you can. We can use this angle properties. It's like a fat Z, you know. I know. It's like the obtuse Z, you know. It's this shape. So we find this, and we can use this to our advantage. So we know this is 44 degrees. 125 plus 44 is equal to 169. Nice. And so this big angle over here is 169. So let's make this a bit cleaner, you know. This angle, this big angle, will be 169, and then we do 90. So this is 90 plus 90 plus 169 is equal to 349. Okay, and that is our answer. This is rates, and this is angle of elevation. We do not care. There's like so many questions left to go. I just end it at the 1 hour mark, you know. The bearing of R from P. So we stand from P and calculate the bearing of 2R. So we go with this. So let's do this. Bearing of R from P. So we need to find this angle. We have already found 42 degrees, so no need to worry about that. Okay, all good. About this slip of angle, we do this by sine rule. We set it up 325 over 1 sine of 180 and 146 over sine of theta. So theta, so this is the answer 42 plus theta. We can do this and this. Now I think this is enough for today. 50 minutes, good, explains everything how you should do. Okay, I hope. Like, subscribe and share. Bye.